Hello and welcome to another What's Inside. This time we're looking at the Cthulhu Wars Onslaught 3 Kickstarter bonuses. Now in the bonuses box that Wyatt got, he was nice enough to send me everything that he got, including this rule book, and I'm adding this in the video. I'm not sure if this is actually part of the Kickstarter rewards, but I thought it'd be cool to lead the video with this. So it comes in this little plastic thing, which is not sealed or anything. Thanks, guys. Okay, already I don't like the coating they use on this. It feels like it's going to wear off really fast. It feels very cheap. So, bad call on their part. But inside, ooh, that's beautiful. That is awesome. You can see the different minis drawn out. Oh, there's a dedication to his brother, Eric. That's depressing. Alright, looks like we got a lot of imagery. Oh yeah, that's cool. Printed components. Different factions and the pieces they have. That's really cool. The art is fantastic in this. Different play methods. Nice thick rule book too. I mean, these pages are really nice. I hope the binding's good. It seems like it is, but they cheaped out on the cover lacquer. Feels like lacquer to me. So when you cheap out on the cover, the feeling of the coating, it generally means the binding's probably not going to be that good either. Oh, there's even the packs in here, the Great Old One packs. So you know, oh wow, it's even got the cards listed. So if you don't have the cards, they're in here. That's awesome. Different factions. Ooh, different investigators. Yeah, this is awesome. This is an amazing addition to any game. Q&A, designer notes. Yeah, this is fantastic. If you're going to play this game, I would definitely recommend this. This looks like a fantastic addition. I don't know if they're doing other Onslaughts later on, but if you're going to play the game and you're a completionist, you will want this so that you know what's supposed to be in the boxes of the other packs. So this is fantastic, and I would definitely want to add this to any collection, because if you decide to expand and you only are able to buy minis and don't have the cards, they're listed in here what each one does, so you can reference it very quickly. And you can sort things out into what packs they go with if you're going to sell your sets. So there's that. But, fantastic. I don't like the coating, like I said, but minor complaint, comparatively speaking. A back cover image would have been nice, too. So, for this is from 2018. So, that's the Cthulhu Wars Onslaught 3 edition of the rulebook. So, let's look at some other stuff and see what we got. Continuing on with the Kickstarter bonuses, this is CWU30. So let's see what is in here. These are just held together by tape, which is easily broken. Oh, okay. We've got an upside down head here. Alright, this is just kind of loosely bouncing around in there, but this is a Cacodemon? It's an upside down head looking thing. Nice sculpt, very top heavy though. So I would gently put this down and not slam it down on the board. But big purple guy. Pretty cool looking. And you get a card with him, which is a little flexed from being in there without protection. Thanks, guys. Not even a bag. So this is a Terror. Standard backing, I believe, on these. And it does have information on the other side. So, nice addition to the game. Pretty cool looking mini, actually. Pretty scary looking because it is an upside down head. So, yeah, I don't know, pretty creepy looking. The base is a little thinner than some of the others, so I would be aware of that. It seems like it was a little poorly planned because it is very, very top heavy. But cool looking miniature. So let's look at another one here. Okay, this one is CWU29. So let's see what we've got here. Again, this tape is really easy to break. Okay, we've got another tear. This one's really small. This is Brown Jenkin. The cards do flex a little bit because there's nothing to protect them in the box. And let me get the mini out. It's a pretty small mini compared to some of the others. And he just looks like a little rat with a stick. It's a cool little mini. It's pretty creepy looking. But it looks a little uneven when you look at it. Like it's not going to stand upright. And his little stick is bent. Which you can straighten, but I get a little nervous trying to manipulate these. I know they're vinyl and they do tend to hold up really well, but I get a little nervous trying to fix these things. So I tend to just leave them the way they are. So that's Brown Jenkin, and that is CWU29. Let's take a look at another one. This one is CWU17. And this is just yellow dice. There's a whole bunch of them in here. Looks like 20. But it's just yellow extra die. So, bunch of extra dice. Nice little addition to the game, because it's always good to have extra dice. So that is CWU17. Alright. Let's look at CWU12. Oh, this is a whole bunch of minis. Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff in here. Alright, this is a big old bag. So let's see what we've got here. Looks like every faction's represented. Alright, let's separate these by color. Let's see what I got here. As always, I want to thank my buddy Wyatt for letting me open his Kickstarter bonuses. It's really cool of him to let me do that, and he didn't have to, and it's really awesome of him to do it. Alright, so these are new cultists, it looks like, for quite a few factions, or at least additional ones. And if you only have the core set, these are different than those for a lot of the factions. So we'll take a look at a representative from each faction. It looks like there's 6 of each one as well. Okay. So let's start with blue. Here's the blue guy. The staff does bend pretty easily, apparently, from shipping them all in a giant plastic bag. Nice work. For doing such beautiful sculpts, you'd think they'd want to take a little better care of them than just a plastic bag. But I guess shipping would be inordinately expensive then. I'd be willing to pay a little extra, but a lot of people aren't. Alright, so that's blue. Let's take a look at orange. I think they've done some of these sculpts before, but I can't remember. I know we've looked at a lot of Cthulhu Wars minis previously. So that's the orange one. Alright, let's look at the I don't know, what is this, flesh colored, pinkish? And that's just the regular cultist. So nothing too special there. The same is true with the teal. It's the same type of cultist, same sculpt, same mold, just different color. Then we've got red, which is this sketchy looking goat dude with chains on his arms that go to his stomach. Pretty cool looking sculpt, very sketchy looking. If I saw that in the woods, I'd probably run away. Alright, next up is yellow. Very cool looking. These are all nicely weighted so that they sit very well on the base, which I do like that quite a bit. And they are decent size. Let's take a look at purple. I'm not entirely sure what this is supposed to be. Some crazy person with an axe. The colors are vibrant and consistent, so that's good. They spent the extra time to get good mold injecting. So I think it's vinyl plastic. It really feels like it anyway. Real high-end stuff. So all around solid minis. And then we've got our off-white snow blue, which is a little hard to see because of the lighting I'm using, so sorry about that. But really cool looking minis of guys in winter gear with rifles. And lastly, we have green, which are the Cthulhu fishermen, or Gorton's fishermen, I'm not sure which. But he's pointing at you and he's got a pistol. So I don't know if he's going to shoot a signal flare for Cthulhu or go fishing to get me some nice fish sticks. But really cool looking minis. I think the only thing that would have made them better is glowing in the dark. But overall, cool stuff. So there's a lot of guys here to add to the collection. So really nice extra to have the extra cultists and with different sculpts. So that's what we've got here. And we'll move on to the next box. Next up is CWE14. So let's see what's in this thing. Oh, it's a big box for a bunch of little dice. Alright, so we got quite a few here. So let's see if I can show you what these look like. These are really nice little dice. Pretty high quality. Because they are custom made, good luck replacing them for anything resembling a reasonable price. They do seem to be slightly uneven on size, but that doesn't appear to be a big deal. These appear to be all the same. So they're just specialty D6s, but they're cool looking. So that is what is inside CWE14. This is CGB1. Let's take a look at what's in here. Ah, we got some guys with wings. We got 3 people in here. Come on. There we go. Alright, they're all the same sculpt. So I'll just have to show you the one. But I think we've seen these guys before. I don't remember which ones they are, but they kind of remind me of Night Gaunts, but I don't think that's what they are. Really cool sculpt though, nice solid base because of this rock formation. Gives a nice weight. Nothing really I'd worry too much about breaking off other than those tentacles on his face. These here. But it's vinyl, so it should hold up pretty well. Really good quality plastics. Nice sculpt all around. But we got 3 of those here. This is CGB1. And we'll take a look at another box here momentarily. Alright, next up we have CWE17. Ah, it's a new Doom track. Nothing on the back. Pretty standard, pretty cool. And the other piece is the Ritual of Annihilation track, which is equally nice. Very good, thick cardstock. And it's got the 3, 4, and 5 player on the other side. Like I said, really nice, but it's already scuffed up a little bit here from shipping. So you gotta kind of watch this because these perforated edges tend to get really janked up when they're shipping these in this loose cardboard without a plastic bag around them. And that is an awesome, scary image there. This one is CWE10. Let's see what this is. Alright, we got new boards. So we got Windwalkers. On the back we've got the rules for it. Then we have the yellow sign. These again are really nice cardstock, but they do tend to get a little scuffed up on the edges during shipping, so you'll want to keep an eye out on that, look for damage. It's usually just on the top and bottom ones you gotta worry, but you never know. Here's Cthulhu. The back is usually just flavor text to try and get you interested in the game because you're going to use the other side, not this one. Next we have Opener of the Way. I like the layouts on these. The design patterns are really good. The quality is really, really top notch on these. The thickness of the board is really can't be underscored. So here's the Crawling Chaos. Again, we got a cool image up there. As we can see the symbol for it. Really nice, good layout, easy to work with. Next up we have the Sleeper. And finally, Black Goat. I didn't see Cho-Cho in here. But, you know, what are you going to do? Alright, that's all of these for CWE10. Alright, this one is CWU28. So let's see what we've got here. Ooh, that's big. Alright, so the card already popped up. This is Nodens. Alright, I'm cutting off the bottom of the card a little bit so you get a better look at the spell card, which is Proteus. Action cost of 2. And the card had actually popped out. I just popped it back in because I'm courteous like that. This is an independent great old one. The rules should be the same as for the other independent great old ones. And there's the back of the card. Let's look at the mini and see what it looks like. It's just in this Ziploc bag because, you know, freezer safe. But it's a really big mini, very heavy. It is not game appropriate to throw these at other players if you're losing. Just putting that out there for game etiquette purposes. Now the base is attached to the main figure. I'm not seeing too much in the way of seams, thankfully. This coiling around the body is a slightly cheaper plastic than the main body itself, but shouldn't be a problem unless over time it ages poorly, because these legs do kind of move around a little bit, so I'd worry a little bit about those aging over time, but I don't think it'll be a big deal if you store them properly. Yeah, cool looking mini, very heavy, very scary looking monster. Good stuff. Lots of little detailing. I don't know if I'd bother painting this myself. I definitely want, because I'm lazy and I hate painting. But if you're going to paint this, it could be a bit of a challenge. I don't know what's going on with that hand, but it's kind of funky looking. Alright, so let's move on to another box. This one was, again, CWU28. Alright, this one is CWU13. So let's see what we've got here. Looks like another Cthulhu. And of course this got all beat up because I didn't put anything in there to protect it. Wow. Nice packaging, guys. You couldn't put all these in another thing or something. Okay. So it's not going to go back in the board very easily. This is Dire Cthulhu. And we have the non-Euclidean post-battle spell. And it's an independent great old one. There's the spell card. Spell looks pretty cool. The quality of the card is good. The design is pretty much standard. I do like it because it looks like a stretched out skin. It's pretty creepy looking. And the back of the card does represent the model pretty well, but these are nice and thick. You can tell where it got scuffed up a little bit from getting bounced around in the box without any protection. Like a plastic bag would have cost you an extra penny or something. So the card is a little beat up. Not bad enough where I'm going to freak out about it, but enough that it would be slightly annoying. And you can see on the edges of this card too, where it got popped out and kind of bounced around and scuffed up. That's very, very poor form on their part. Just put these in a little plastic bag. It doesn't cost that much extra. And I know you're doing thousands of these, but it's a lazy excuse to cut a corner and save an extra penny when you could be making your players a lot happier by protecting their stuff. Alright, so this is actually a really awesome Cthulhu miniature. It's very heavy, so it's a little heavier than the other ones that I've seen. But it has these really cool wings. You can see the seam a little bit on this one, but not a big deal. If you're going to paint it, it's going to look good either way. You can see the seam on his tail, but that's kind of on the back, kind of tucked away, so it's not a huge deal for me. Might be for others. The seam on the arm looks fine. So all around, a really, really cool mini of Cthulhu. Nice quality. Nice and heavy too. The rock base really gives it a good solid foundation, so when it's standing, it's not going to get knocked over. I think it would be, you'd have to really jostle the table to get this to move. It might fall over onto some other ones maybe if you smacked it, but I think there's a lot of other minis that would fall over before this one did. So yeah, really cool sculpt, great model, a fine addition to the game. It looks really awesome. So that's the Dire Cthulhu figure. Let's look at another box. Alright, this is CW U24. It's pretty heavy, so it must be a bunch of minis. Oh no, oh my gosh, this is all dice. Oh man, alright. That's a lot of dice. Alright, we've got... the dice all look the same, they're just different colors. So these are obviously faction dice. We've got green for Cthulhu. The kind of snow white for the walker. We got purple. We've got a dark blue. We've got orange. We've got yellow. We've got red, which does look really cool, but kind of hard to see. And we've got the flesh colored. We've got gray. And we've got the teal. Let's see here, we've got... how many in here? It's like 18 or 20 dice. So you get quite a bit of dice in each one of these packs. They should all be about the same size. Yeah, it's 20 dice in each one. So that's a lot of dice. No wonder this thing was heavy. But this is the CW U24 pack. Let's look at another box. Next up we have CW U26. So let's see what's inside of here. There's only 4 more to go after this, so we're getting through them pretty quick here. Alright, this is just a whole bunch of rings. Alright, so these are base faction rings. Different sizes is really the only thing here. So this isn't particularly sexy or exciting. Here's your small ones. Whole bunch of those, different colors. Looks like there's pretty equal amounts. So like this size, there's 3 of each. And you got blue, teal, the off-white, like really light blue, snow blue, red, flesh, yellow, magenta, purple, I don't know, orange, and green. Same color set with these. And it looks like there's like 5 or 6 of each of these. Yeah, it looks like 6 of each. And then these have 3 of each. And these big ones have 1 of each. And these kind of medium-sized ones have 3 of each. So that is what is inside CWU26. Let's look at the next box. This is CWU27. Let's take a look at what we got here. This is kind of an odd-shaped one, and it feels weighted, so I think it's a mini. It is. And check out that wonderful packaging. Good job, guys. That card is busted. I don't know if it's damaged the other one, but let's find out. Oh, that thing's heavy. Seriously, put these in a plastic bag, you guys, or just put them in a separate box. Alright, thankfully the main card is not damaged, but it easily could have been because you can see where the mini bent this because of its weight. So let's zoom in a little bit and take a look at the cards and the spell, and then we'll look at the mini. Alright, as usual, I'm going to butcher all the names. So this is Dire Azathoth. There's the card. It looks like the card survived okay, thankfully. And I believe he's an independent. Yeah, independent great old one. You can see this side got scuffed up pretty bad from getting forcibly popped out. The bottom's not as bad, but it's got scuffed up. There's a little crease here even. Good job, Petersen. You make great stuff. Why can't you just ship it to us in a nice way? Like, when you're doing these Kickstarters, instead of putting all these cards separately, put them all in one pack, because they're all Kickstarter goals, expansion goals. So why not just, since it's a stretch goal, wait till you're all done and put them all in one box. Be easier. Be a little nicer, so they don't get all janked up like this. Pay the extra. Seriously, guys. You guys make a ton of money off these things. Alright, then the spell is the Blind Idiot God. On the back is the image. So let's take a look at the mini. Okay, this thing is huge. And it's really cool looking. Lots of little pieces on it though. These little tendrils everywhere. It's very heavy, especially unevenly so, I would say, because it's kind of top heavy. But it is weighted a little bit so that it will stand up, but if it gets nudged, I think it will fall over, because it's slightly leaning to one side from the look of it. And the top piece is very, very heavy compared to the base. So while it is really cool, and it is pretty stable, the base mold is slightly uneven. Not terribly so, but enough that it does have a slight wobble to it. And if the table gets hit really hard, it's top heavy enough that it could knock it over onto some other pieces. So with these little spines and stuff like that, these ridges, I'd be a little worried about breaking one of these off, because these, I know it is vinyl and they are very resilient. I don't want to hear about it in the comments, but that's the type of thing I worry about, is damaging something this expensive and this awesome. So I tend to be very careful with my minis. I know Wyatt does too. But I would be really careful about storing these and try and get some foam or something to put around it to protect it, instead of just haphazardly throwing it in a Ziploc baggie inside of a box, Petersen. But yeah, awesome sculpt. Really cool. Packaging needs some work though, guys. But yeah, really detailed stuff. If you're going to paint this, this will be a real difficult task, a real challenge to make this look as awesome as the sculpt already makes it. So if you're an excellent painter, you're going to have a blast doing this. There's lots of little nooks and crannies on him. So that's Dire Azathoth. Let's look at another box. Okay, this one is CWE20. Let's see what we've got in here. Oh, we got a whole bunch of stuff. Okay. This looks like our investigators. And there's some brain cylinders. And some spell cards, maybe. Or spell books. So let me try and get these back in place so we can get a more uniform look at things. So the first side we have Great Cthulhu and Chocho and some brain cylinders. And these are Dreams, Submerge, Hierophants, and Tablet of the Gods. So nice quality cardstock, of course. They unfortunately got popped out because they store the cards with the minis, which I've been complaining about this whole time. So let's take a look at these. Now this is much thinner. Oh, you can see they crumpled that one. Nice work. Lazy. This is what happens when you package things poorly. This is a very thin cardstock piece put in with a big bag of minis. So, very poor packaging on the part of whoever assembled this, but ultimately Petersen is responsible for that, and I find this very insulting and poorly done. But, you know, it's gonna happen. It's bound to happen with the way they ship these things. So, you can't complain too much because it is the stretch goal stuff, but that's why you backed it on Kickstarter. So you could get these things, and then something comes in, it gets frustrating and disappointing. So these are the handicap alkalite rules. Interesting little thing. It looks like the same thing on both sides. So it's not a huge deal, but it's still a little frustrating that that got janked up. Alright, so then we've got what looks like some investigators. So we've got investigator card on one side, and on the other side, oh, that's discolored. Yeah, that one is slightly, I don't know what that is, if that's supposed to be there or not, but it's not like the other ones. So here we have Hannah Hazard, and then we have Sindru Pretorius, then Naomi Johnson, John Dark, Terang, Moose Kowalski, Amelia Azevedo, and Victor Steele. Next up, we have Cultus, the Eidolonian. I don't know how to pronounce any of this stuff. These cards are pretty decent quality. I would still prefer to have giant sleeves to put them in to protect the card, but they don't really make them in this size, so you want to be really careful with these because they can get crumpled up in packaging. And I believe this is the same on both sides. So, then we have the Prophetess Cultist. And again, I think this is the same on both sides. Then we have a Terror. So it's usual Terror rules. And this is Worms of Gorth. Then lastly, we have the Eradicators. Which again, I believe this one is also the same on both sides. So, the cards look good. These are in nice condition, despite that one being a little beat up. I was a little worried about these. Let's take a look at the miniatures. Okay, first things first, we've got the first player token, which is Lovecraft holding a lantern. and a copy of what I assume to be the Necronomicon as the waves come rolling up by his feet. It's really cool mini. This is a nice addition to any set, just because this would make a cool display piece, even if you're not playing the game. So that's awesome. Then we've got 4 brain cylinders, same sculpt, really nice little things. You know, nice little token instead of using cardstock. It's nice to have these out. So that's a cool addition. We've got 2 altars, one for blue. And these are like the ones we saw in Onslaught 2. So you can set stuff in here. And then there's a glow-in-the-dark one, or at least it looks like it's glow-in-the-dark. So that's kind of cool as well. Next up we have, I believe this is a High Priest for blue. And then we've got this bad boy here. This is all slimy worm tentacle things on this chick. And it's a really cool looking mini. So next up we have this arrow planet thing. It's pretty odd looking, but it's got a nice weight to it. Stands shockingly well. It looks like it would be a little bit uneven or wouldn't stand up well, but it actually does. So, cool little piece. Alright, then we have some independent versions of the cultists from other factions. Unfortunately, Yellow got a little beat up. Let's see. She's leaned back all the way, got crushed among the others. So that's also very disappointing. Again, would have liked these to have been inside of something to protect them, but you know that's not going to happen. I believe this one's purple. And here's blue. His staff shockingly didn't get all beat up. There's green as a gray independent. Then we move on to these guys. He's got like a welder mask on. It's kind of hard to see. I apologize. I don't have good enough lighting to do some of these justice, or a good enough camera to get high resolution on these. So colors like this don't show up very well at all compared to the others. And we've got some lady with a cyberpunk sniper rifle of some kind. Then somebody with like a hammer. Then whatever this is supposed to be. Looks like a lady jumping with like a rifle in her hand. Then this person has an animal on their head. I suppose that's supposed to be cutesy. I think it's kind of dumb. Then we got this big heavy set dude with the neck brace. some guy with some books tied to his back. You know, a pistol and a silly pointy hat. And lastly, this guy with a shield whose sword is bent. It's not a hook. I think that's supposed to actually be a pointed sword. I don't know, because it's got a hilt. But yeah, so whatever these are supposed to be, that's what those are. So, all in all, this is a pretty cool little box. It would have been nice if there was a little better protection for some of the pieces. All yellow here, as an independent, got bent pretty heavily, and the one card is janked up. Otherwise, pretty cool. So let's take a look at the next box. We only have 2 left. Okay, this is CWM12, and I believe there's a map in here, so we're going to try and look at it as best we can. Okay, so we've got a board with some altars on it. 6 of them, obviously. And the back is exactly the same. Nothing else missing there? Alright. Then we've got 2 maps here. These might be pieces of the same map. It looks pretty big. So let's figure out how to do this. Alright, so as you can see, there's Mondo Green, Ocean Belt Violet, Garfly, and we'll just try and show the different sectors of the map. This is an 8-player map, obviously. I know this is upside down, but hey, try to show you the whole thing here. This backside's only 6 players. Here. That's 6 players. And this is the first half of the map. Alright, so since we're looking at the 6-player side here, let's go over the 8-player side again, and then we'll do the 8-player side on the other one first. So let's see if I can adjust this a little better. I can't really get a better angle on this to get the whole thing. So this is the 8-player side, and we'll look at the 8-player side of the second board in a moment. Okay. So let's put this one away for right now. And we'll take a look at this one. This is the other half. Alright. The 8-player side is on the inside fold of this one, so that's helpful. So this is first sector. Alright, now let's look at the 6-player side. Six players. I don't particularly care for the goofy, silly kind of art on this. The board quality is really nice, but the silliness really kind of hurts it, because it looks kind of goofy and lazy. I mean, it's supposed to be a horror game. The minis look cool and scary. You could take it a little more seriously. Like, the planets look really cool, but this kind of goofy art, I don't know what that is. That looks lazy to me. So overall, the fact that it's a four-fold board, I do like that. There's two of them to kind of make it easier to put together. The fact that it's not consistent with the sides, like the inside unfolded side on here is the 6-player and on the other one it's the 8-player. But the quality is nice. I just don't like the art. I think it's too kind of childish and goofy, and it almost makes a joke out of it. I know that they do that sort of thing a lot. I just think that that looks cartoonish and lazy. So overall, it looks like it's a decent map. I just don't like the little goofy art style on here. Otherwise, yeah. So that is what is in CW M12. And we'll look at our last package next. Okay, we're at the last one. This is CW M13. And this is also a map, I believe. So let's see what we've got here. Alright, it's a 2-piece map of the Earth. So it says Earth 3-player. So we'll look at the... Ooh, it's kind of stuck together. Oh yeah, there's a little bit of glue they got on here. That's not cool. It's slightly warped. Oh, nice work. Nice work, guys. Alright, so we'll ignore that for the moment and look at the 3-player map. With any of these maps that you pick up used, you want to check the seams, where the seams meet too, because sometimes like this one's a little scuffed up from being in the packaging. And the glue thing is really annoying. You can hear that tackiness. At least I can. Alright, so this is the first half. First sector here is North America. Second sector is the other half of North America. And then we've got South America, slightly distorted, and Australia, significantly closer than it really is. So this is part 1 of the 3-part. We'll look at the other side in a moment. We'll look at the other half of the 3-part map first. Okay, so it says 3-player down here in the corner, Earth. And here we've got the Indian Ocean, Africa, and Antarctica, and the South Atlantic. And then up here we have Europe. And then in this sector we have Asia. Now the other side of this one, this is the 5-player map. And here we have Europe and Scandinavia with Lomar. And then we have North Asia, Arabia, and South Asia, which is Lang. And the North Pacific. Then we've got the Indian Ocean in this sector, and East Africa and West Africa, South Atlantic, and Antarctica. So let's check out the 5-player of the first one. Okay, so here's the North Atlantic. This is where our distortion is right here from the glue. That it really irritates me because these are expensive boards to replace. So finding this crinkled because of some stray glue is really frustrating. I think they've got more mistakes in this one with stuff like this, avoidable things, than in any of the other Onslaughts. So I'm really disappointed with that, because otherwise it's really good quality stuff. But little things like that add up. We saw a couple of bent minis, a bent card or two, scuffed up stuff, and this glue mark here is that's really frustrating. So I'd probably get more upset about that than other things than other people would. But to me, it's the little stuff like that that tells me they're not keeping an eye on quality like they should be. So here we have another part. The maps are well laid out. Again, I would always check these seams if you're buying this used, and check for stray glue, obviously. Australia, New Zealand. This map looks really cool, actually. So this one will probably get some use. 3-player map, yeah, it'll get used too, but we'll probably still play 2-player on the 5-player map just to make it interesting. So, all in all, this map looks awesome. I'm excited to play the 3-player and 5-player. Looks really cool. The edges are definitely a little scuffed on this one, though. And that glue thing really kind of makes me mad. But that is the last of the pledge bonuses that I've got. I want to thank my buddy Wyatt again for letting me open all his Kickstarter stuff. It's really nice. There's some really cool stuff in here. I'm excited to check it out and see what else we could do. So, yeah, that's all the brown boxes from the Kickstarter pledges. Got one more box to go through for Cthulhu Wars, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. I think there's only one more box, but yeah. We've seen what's inside. Overall, good quality. A few minor things that aren't being kind of looked at for quality control. It'd be nice if they'd package the cardstock cards together instead of putting them with the minis so they get all banged up. But that is a minor complaint. There's some really cool stuff here. So that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching and supporting the channel. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up or like, whatever they're calling it. And subscribe so you don't miss future unboxings and reviews. If you want to help the channel out in other ways, links are in the description and on the About page for my Streamlabs and everything else. And we hope to see you on the next one.